Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, who is from the organizer side, please? I have joined. We can start. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, a very good afternoon to all participants, respected resource person, Professor Vimal Rah ma'am. She is today's resource person. So on behalf of UGC Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, I welcome Professor Vimal Rah. She is Director Malviya Mission Center of UGC Ministry of Education, then Professor, Department of Chemistry at SGTB, Khalsa College, and Coordinator, National Resource Center of Chemistry of MHRD. So indeed, it is really a pleasure and honor for all of us to have her here as a resource person. So I welcome you, ma'am, to this afternoon session, and she will continue her lecture till 3:30, and after 3:30, we will have a lecture of Bakshi, sir. So, ma'am, I will take your leave because I am having a lecture in another MMTTC,
Yeah,
Chandigarh.
definitely, I can understand. Yeah, please,
Thank you.
I'll take care. Thank you. Thank you so much. And
Welcome, welcome.
I
Yeah.
convey my gratitude to all the organizers. Thank you so much. So let me just share my screen and so hope my screen is visible. And I'll request all dear colleagues who have joined as participants to keep on writing whatever thoughts is coming in your mind in the chat, so that if I can take these into my session, I will definitely do. Otherwise, we can have a discussion later on, or if you have any queries. So just let me. So what this and the next session goes to take is the ICT module. And the e-learning, MOOCs in detail, that part will be taken by Professor Bakshi. So usually we keep it in a different sequence, but I'll start with the implementation strategy and how the e-content development and all as per the module is mentioned for this particular orientation and sensitization program. So first of all, we will like to interact with you through the chat, and if some of you want to unmute, they can do that. Hallmark of education system is that it changes with time, and you must be wondering that now it is so much hue and cry that technology has to be learned by us and we have to change the pedagogies and all. Is it the first time that we are changing? Let me take you back to the history. I think this is what the classroom scenario that we can recall. And at this juncture, I will like you to see some points here, the positive aspects as well as the negative. So, can we look at some positive aspects and you can write what are the positive aspects of this type of teaching learning scenario? Open environment, Dr. Anand, fine, one-to-one discussion. So the teacher-student ratio is very good, close to natural ambience, and we can say the life skills are also being embedded. Fine. Residential, good connect. They are with nature. Fine. No distractions away from family, animals coexistence, inclusive environment. Oh, very fine. So you are having all the positive points. One positive point I will like to add, which we also should be trying to prepare ourselves, is that the so-called gurus, I think we cannot consider ourselves to be put up in that category. There was no formal teaching positions like we are into, and they were those enlightened minds who had the feeling of responsibility that before they die, everyone will have to. Before they die, whatever knowledge, information, skill, wisdom they have attained, they should transfer it to the next generation. So I will start with this note that we should try to prepare ourselves to that level of our professional requirement and commitment that these were into. But then there were some negative points also. There are many positive points, as most of you have highlighted. And if we look at ideal situation, yes, this type of close teacher, very small teacher student ratio is perfect scenario for teaching learning, and that's called as one to one or the personalized learning that we call. But then is it possible right now is something that you have to think for. And another important thing is you must have heard about the stories like Eklavya, where you can see that there are some flaws in this type of system, and not everyone was inclusivity and access. That is definitely a big question mark here. And as we have now massive population in our country, can we afford to have this type of system? The answer is clearly no. And we have to be providing access of quality education to all. And that's where we have to be also looking. Yes, Dr. Vivek, one more thing you have added, gender inclusiveness is also maybe missing. And the another disadvantage by Lavina's phone is that possibility of abuse, physical or mental. I think that is something we cannot comment. But then, yes, there are challenges, and gradually the system has changed itself also based on the various technology. And let me take you to the scenario that now we have rather we are glued to this type of blackboards and green boards and whiteboards, but then we should try to change to what? The projectors are also there in many classrooms, so the technology integration has already taken place, not just during Corona, but before that as well. And when we had the coronavirus pandemic, very unfortunate for the mankind, but then what I will say is it was really a boon where all the teachers, they made efforts to learn the technology because that was the only way they could be connected with their learners. But then don't leave the technology. You have to know now the proper methods and how it can empower you and take it further in a more structured way. Just not that we are back in our classrooms and then we go away. We will have to go into something called as blended learning, and I'll be talking about that. Teachers also made the effort of making this type of videos by recording their classroom sessions. My salute to all the teachers during the corona, where they made this effort to provide the material to their students. But then again, we have to know the better methods, not simply that whatever we are writing on the board is being captured. Yes, that can be one way, but how to have that the so-called quality content is one more thing that we'll have to learn in our new roles. So with this background, it is difficult to imagine education without technology in the 21st century. And higher education problems can be overcome with the help of technology, whether it is in terms of providing quality education in each and every classroom or increasing the access and equity. So all these three are very important part, and we have to take them together so that we can have mass inclusivity for making them provide the quality higher education, and that too with the note that the students are developed holistically so that they are made competent professional as well as good Indian citizen and good human being, which other modules you must have seen the inclusivity of now, the skill education. We are also talking about the value education, the Indian knowledge system. All these now you have to see and how they can be integrated as we take the help of technology to go beyond what we have been doing till now in our classroom. And ultimately, we have to be preparing for this type of scenario. Can you imagine that we are having a robot teacher along with us and we also there, so that some part which can be taken help with the help these type of tools including robot, the students can get that information from there, but then we have different role. So if you keep confined yourself into the same roles of information sharing, that can be done by robots. The AI is here, and we also have now the biggest challenge in front of us to prepare ourselves to be teaching with the AI robots or with the help of AI tools. Not to replace us, but how now we can make ourselves even more significant in our classroom scenario. National Education Policy 2020, it clearly mentions that one of the central principles steering the education system will be the extensive use of technology in teaching learning, removing language barriers, increasing access as well as education planning and management. These two chapters, I will recommend all of you to go into detail. Rather, you should read the entire policy document. But the chapter 23 and chapter 24 exclusively, they are mentioning about the technology use and integration and how digital education and online education will be ensuring equitable use of technology. NEP 2020 also has mentioned about National Education Technology Forum. It has been established, and Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe is heading as chairman. And it is also a body which will be ensuring that how the standardized assessments with the help of technology, including you already have the NTA, so there are different assessment techniques with the help of technology are being taken, and how different blended models of learning can be evolved and these can be shared with other colleagues so that they can be replicated in different subjects. So this is the golden opportunity for all of you, that you understand what all pedagogies are available, how the technology tools are there, and you are your subject expert, how they can be integrated so that you come out with a new blended model which other fellow colleagues can also adopt and take it further. And as I mentioned, the National Educational Technology Forum will also be laying down standards, and they will be again guiding and setting standards to be followed by different states, boards, schools, school complexes, and will vary because every state and every region will be having different challenges, and all that has to be encapsulated. So this is providing an overview of a general thing, but then the narrowing down has to be done by every level, right from the policy makers to the implementers, university, colleges, and for every teacher. NEP 2020 also mentions for the ICT part that teachers will now require suitable training and development to be effective online educators. And it clearly mentions that if you think that you are very good teacher in a traditional classroom, don't be in the impression that you're going to be a good teacher in an online or a blended classroom as well. So teachers will have to undergo rigorous training in learner-centric pedagogies and how to become high quality online content creators themselves. This is very important, and it's a thing which I foresee within next 5 years. Every teacher should know how to make their videos for the flipped classroom model or for sharing it with their students for self-learning and all other digital forms of content which will be replacing all the manual type of content that we are having, even for a face-to-face classroom situation. There will be emphasis on the teacher's role in facilitating active student engagement with the content and religion. So this is now the role, all of you. Look at now that till now, the information that we were sharing, compiling from different books or making notes, and the same the students were also making, that will be no longer the way. You will have to pre-prepare the digital content, give it to the students, and we have to facilitate the active engagement between students and between student and teacher. And that is what we have to be looking, and that has to be done in the light of outcome-based education, where there are other professional skills and life skills are being inculcated. So that is what we have to be keeping in mind. In this module, as we go further, you should be aware about some terms. So let me take this, because for some of you it may be elementary, but this is mentioned, so it becomes my responsibility to take you through these terms. One is computer assisted instruction. The use of computer to provide instruction directly to the learner is called as computer assisted instruction. And examples of these include some application like practice exercise, computer visualization of complex objects, computer facilitated communication between student and teachers. And on the same lines, when we talk about computer assisted learning, obviously it will be from the learner point, the use of computers to impart learning, that is changing the student's state of knowledge or skill. And under this category, this is the I'll say the area where we started the so-called use of computer in imparting teaching learning component, and they were called as mostly as web-based tutorials. There are also CD-ROMs, if you recall, and many uh, institutions like NIIT, AppTech, they took actually the front lead almost 2 decades back when the computer-assisted instructions modules were created. But this is now being changed into more uh, browser-based, mobile-based, and so on. After that, one more term that is mentioned, we should be aware, is the computer-managed learning. Now, this is all about the database management type of software, because in the teaching learning process, we will require to maintain some records of the students, records of their assignment, the examination. So all the teaching material, learning sequences, if you can put them, then we require database management softwares. And this is called as computer managed learning. So computer is helping in management. And there are many ERPs and all, where right from entry level of the student till they get the degree and certification, even till alumni, these parts can be integrated through the database management software. Now, coming to the present era is the computer-based learning. So, it is more integration of the computers, and CBL is the term used for any kind of learning with the help of computers. And computer-based learning makes use of the interactive elements of the computer application and software, and the ability to present any type of media to the users. And this includes e-learning, which in detail will be taken by Professor Bakshi in the next session. It also has gamification, webinars, video conferencing, virtual realities, videos, podcast. And you can see that in your own subject, teaching learning, which all models can be used. And I'll be telling you some more about this. So with this entire understanding, if you look at till now, where we have already done the technology integration in our higher education. So don't be in the impression that only during the Corona time we have started everything. No, it is almost from more than 2 decades that different central governments and the state governments have been making efforts to provide the connectivity, the hardware, the software, the access devices, and to make the content which can be then used for the e-learning and other components. So let me take you briefly to the journey that we already have traversed and what we have to now prepare ourselves into. MOOCs is a reality now. The details of MOOCs will be taken by, as I mentioned, by next speaker, who is again uh, in our team, where we have contributed more than 50 MOOCs for the SWAM platform. And these MOOCs can be used in your own classroom situation for providing the supplementary material or implementing the flipped classroom model. Also, there is a this you must be all aware. If not, then you should be knowing this, that there is a UGC credit framework for online courses through SWAYAM regulation. Under this provision, universities can provide the students opportunity for earning credits up to 40% of courses per semester. So if it means that if you are having uh, n number of courses in a semester, then out of that, 40% of the credit can be earned by the student directly from SWAYAM. Earlier in 2016, this was 20%, and now during the corona in 2021, it was increased to 40%. There is also a provision where universities having more than 3.26 NAC rating, and along with that many other qualifications, that they can offer fully online courses or degree programs. Yes, the university and many universities have already started under this provision where the BA, MA, MCom, BCom, not BSc, not B Pharma. So those which do not require any practical but the theoretical part, then they are allowed under these provisions. And I was fortunate to be part of the member of this committee who has constituted these regulations. And after 2018, because open and distance education also fits into the similar scenario where the learning material has to be provided to the students, and that comes under the Distance Education Bureau. So both of these were then combined, and UGC ODL and Online Regulation 2020, this is now the latest name, and you can make yourself apprised at all those colleagues who are from open distance education or from the universities who want to now offer the online courses. Then there are quality parameters which are mentioned. They have to be followed if you are writing it to seek permission from UGC, and then you will be allowed, and then you can offer these courses. And there are various parameters which have to be followed. There is also a provision of dual degree. In April 2022, now the students can earn 2 degrees at the same time. Yes, one the student can do face-to-face in our classroom situation, but the other they can do it from the online. The idea is actually many times the students don't get the courses of their choice, and in our physical infrastructure, we cannot do the expansion. So the online also provides another way that students can upgrade themselves and even have the degrees around the areas where they are really interested into. Even for small courses, as the students keep on accumulating different credits, now this you should spread a word in your students that they should be making a APAR ID on Academic Bank of Credits portal, and that will be like the ID for the academic purposes, that these are the courses they have done and how many credits they have earned. And there is also a provision that if they meet the minimum number of credits as per the National Higher Education Qualification Framework, then they will also be given a graduation degree without even coming to any institution, provided they meet those particular parameters. So as teachers, we should be aware, and we should try to share this information with our students as well. But this in all changing scenarios, so many changes already done, so many have been put up as in our visionary document NEP 2020, we have to convert ourselves into tech-savvy teachers who can embrace and implement the newer pedagogies. And that will be possible only and only when you can use the technology in a judicious way for your own subject, and different tools you have to be aware, start practicing, and which will be actually empowering you. Technology is not to be used if you are finding that it is taking more time. Yes, in slight learning phase, it will be important for you to put up time, but you should learn only those technologies which are going to ultimately reduce your time. Like if you want to do some formative assessment in between and paucity of time, you cannot do the checking, and also some online quizzes can be integrated, how to make those quizzes or the content sharing, the visualizations and all. So you have to know what are the ways, and that is what I'm now going to share in my remaining part of this presentation. So in this scenario now, we have to be preparing ourselves to make e-content. And e-content development methodology not only for online courses or MOOCs, but mainly for the implementation of blended learning in each and every classroom that we are having. What is blended learning? Blended learning will mean that whatever classroom learning we are doing in a traditional way, where the students are face to us, and there is other extreme where the students are not in front, but then we are using the technology to be in connect, like we are having this online session where we are not face to face, but then we are connected through online. So there is online learning, there are learning management system, there are different tools. Can we combine both these parts? And that will be called as the blended learning. So that means in order to implement the curriculum or the syllabi that you have, can some of the part be done through online, some part be done in offline mode, and that mixture, that combination will be unique to each of you, because it will depend on your own comfort level of the technology and also to the comfort level of your students. So you have to be creating your own blended learning model, and gradually as you start using these tools, you will be, so there's no straight jacketed model that what all should be done, what should, but then the models around different subjects need to be created, and that is, as I told you, is the opportunity. But that will be only possible by those teachers who are tech savvy and those who have good command in their subject. And now they will think that, okay, how can I integrate these two models so that the quality of the teaching learning actually enhances. So blended learning or integrating ICT tool, just not the points for NAC or other thing, कि वो कहने के लिए हम एक स्मार्ट बोर्ड लगा देते हैं और जब नैक की टीम आती है तो उसको दिखाते हैं, लेकिन करने के लिए हम वही फेस टू फेस कर रहे थे. नो, it will be really empowering you, and it will be empowering your students, and it is going to enhance the quality of teaching, learning, delivery. How? Look at this learning pyramid, and I will request all of you, you can search this learning pyramid. It is not my creation. It is based on the research of various educationists. That according to this, the lecture mode that we take, which most of us, and that is the major problem in our education system, which needs to change, and no fault of ours. Don't think that it is our fault. No, no way. Because in the Guru Shishya Parampara, when the teaching learning method, now if you recall, it is more from teacher-centric mode. The teacher is telling, fine. The teacher is telling because the information is not available to the students. But now in the current scenario, the information is available to the students even faster than what is available to us as teachers. So if you spend your time all 15 weeks, 1 hour for 1 credit only in the 5% this lecture mode, then there is 5% learning which is happening. Keep it in your mind. कहने के लिए हम 90-95% नंबर दे देंगे, but that will be out of 5%, not out of 100%. And this you should show it to your students as well. How it increases further? It increases further when we tell the students to go back to the library to study, to make notes, the reading part. That will make it increase to 10%. And till now, if you look in the education system, we are broadly, there will be some peaks of excellence and exceptions. I'm not denying that. But then majority, we are confined to these two methods, and the so-called 90% scorers are actually 9% scorers, because that scoring is from not 100%, but 10%. That's the learning they have done. And that's why, if you recall back class 12th, the students must have scored anything. But after 5 years, 10 years, if you tell them, they have forgotten everything. How it can be increased? It can be increased by adding audio visual aids. And that's where the importance of technology and all the e-learning, blended learning models come. So this will be making the students understand the concept better, and they can access the same lecture of the teacher as many a number, because the slow learners are there, they need to have more access, and that will be done if you add audio visuals in your delivery. If you want to increase it further, you have to go into demonstration inside the class as well as by the help of practical class. Some part of practical we have been doing. Discussion group and practice by doing is another element which is missing to a greater extent. We talk about projects, experiential learning, they all come here, and these are the better methods rather than just sharing the information and the student make a note and we ask the question, write short note on this or explain this and this. They will do rote learning. So how you can really make the learning increase from 5 to 10% to 75%? You will have to adopt these methods. Now, if you want to go into discussion and practice by doing, and your entire class is consuming this 5% lecture mode, you will not be able to go into this. So this part of lecture should be transferred into audio visual, and that the student should come prepared, and you should be focusing more on the engagement of students with each other and with you through the proper structured activities which come in learner centric models. That is the change that we have to do. Unless or until we are aware about that, how we will be implementing. So that's why you try to understand this entire NEP orientation and sensitization program is being taken now so seriously that within 3 years, 15 lakh higher education teachers will be made sensitized about this. And now you understand what are the areas of improvement that you want to do. There will be detailed FDPs, like from our center also. Just from 1st, 2nd May, we'll be rolling out one on learning management system. So then go and grab the opportunity where you can learn more about the areas where you need to improve. This part I have not touched, but this is where we are there. After teaching 10, 20, 30 years, फिर हम बड़े अच्छे गर्व से बोलते हैं हमें अपना सब्जेक्ट आ गया है. शायद तब भी नहीं आता है, because that is 90%, it is not 100%, it can never be 100%. So we have to really see the system of the evaluation. 100 marks, 100 out of 100 in English, it's a mockery that we are doing. So this is what the reality is. And but this teaching others cannot be the strategy which can be used, because 25-30 साल नहीं है students के पास. They will be there with us for 3-4 years, and all that learning has to be done till practice by doing. We can use synchronous as well as asynchronous modes while implementing the blended learning. What we mean by synchronous? Synchronous classes will mean they are in real time. So even our face-to-face mode is synchronous, but without technology. With the help of technology, synchronous will mean all of you attending right now. Right now means 24th April 2024 at 2:51 p.m. You are right there with me. This is synchronous class through the technology, and you are accessing it through different location. So just imagine that I am teacher and you're all learners. So that mode will be the synchronous mode. Synchronize, perfectly synchronized. Asynchronous is opposite to that. That is, these will be a more relaxed schedule. Suppose we record this video and we tell you, okay, अभी नहीं देखा है तो रात के 12 बजे देख लेना, कल देख लेना. So that becomes more of a flexible mode, and the student can access class material during different hours and from different location. And that is also the spirit behind the books. Now, this can be utilized in your blended learning model. Every class you record on Zoom while giving, that is also called as the hybrid mode. Some students are attending in face-to-face, some through technology. So those who are absent, they also get the opportunity to attend. They will not be given attendance, but the learning, if they want to peep into your class and listen, why should we keep them out like the Eklavya? So try all the methods so that even if the student has to go out of station due to some family work or some urgent thing, then can we not allow them without giving attendance, and technology will provide that. Record your sessions, and even your classroom students who are attending, the slow learners, they want to revise your lecture again and again, then you can record it and put it on your learning management system where they can use it as many number of times. And that is how the technology is going to improve the even the face-to-face scenario with the help of blended learning model. This is just one instant. Many things I'll be discussing further. Don't go anywhere. I hope all of you are here. Can I see some of the responses and smileys coming? All of you should be creating happy environment in between. बच्चे बोर नहीं होने चाहिए. Can I see some smileys coming from all of you? Let me have water till then. Okay, nice to see all of you smiling. Thank you, thank you. Okay, let's get back now. So when we talk about now implementation of blended learning, obviously we'll require ICT infrastructure connectivity. So we'll have to look at the appropriate models, what type of access device. कई बार एक बच्चे के पास होता है, सबके पास नहीं होता, तो you can form the groups and give activity where they can do that part together. You will definitely require e-content, MOOCs and digital resources. इसके बिना कोई चारा नहीं है, because just like your hand notes, now this content is going to be your main ingredient between you and the learner. And obviously teachers have to be proficient in technology skills. Coming to e-content has been also incentivized, because बिना इंसेंटिव के कई बार बोलते हैं मेरे को प्रमोशन तो वो रिसर्च पब्लिकेशन से मिल रही है, तो मैं ई कंटेंट क्यों बनाऊं? Very valid point. So for e-content development, after the EPG Pathshala, we completed in 6 subjects. There were many discussions. And in 2016, one line about the incentive to be given for e-content development was added. And later on in CAS 2018, which is applicable as on date to all of us under the UGC, there are points C for development of MOOCs, innovative pedagogy, e-content, different roles. And if you develop e-content in 4 quadrants per module, there are 5 points. And if you compare it with research publication, you have 10 or 8 respectively, depending upon humanities or science. But then here it is 5 for all. And you developed 2 modules, it will be equivalent to 1 research publication. And in terms of API, so you can see how much you can also, and it is a golden opportunity where it will, once you make the this e-content in 4-quadrant module, it will also improve that what all ingredients you have to add while you are delivering your session or the teaching learning. And in terms of e-content, it is typically delivered on World Wide Web, which is the browsers and all. And more predominantly, now it has gone to mobile phones. So we use those tools where more of the access, at least in India scenario, uh, गांव के इलाकों में अगर लाइट की प्रॉब्लम है, so mobile hands are getting more easily charged. The type of batteries they have improved, so the challenges which were there 2 decades back are no longer there. And rather than desktop or laptop, now we are talking about how the content can be given on the smartphones. And that can be different types of content. It can be visual, image, graphic, text, or some internet application, games, e-journals, database, presentations, audio, video, simulation, animations, interactive sites are there, ebooks are there, augmented and virtual reality is there, and something called as energized book. So just try to make yourself aware in your own particular courses, subjects that you're teaching, what are the available thing and where you are lacking in terms of the other resources available where you can make your own content. In order to make e-content for a proper project which is funded as a MOOC or from your university point of view to make online course, then it is the journey from static content to e-content which requires multimedia enrichment. So there are 2 stages. One stage is the static content production, which is done by us. The next stage is by the technical team, which will do the compilation, fine editing and all. But the difference between these two is gradually reducing. What is being foreseen in the next 4 5 years? There will be no longer use of any technical team. And now the softwares are so powerful that you learn them, you can create your own videos. Animations and simulation are still a challenge, but at least in video, you can create your own video and that can be taken as one part of the e-content. But that has to be done judiciously, looking at what different tools can be used as per your subject specific requirement and also as per the level of learner so that you get the quality e-content. Because when we say quality of e-content, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ये आपकी क्लासरूम की तरह नहीं है कि हमने अटेंडेंस के नाम से वी से द स्टूडेंट्स कैन नॉट लीव माई क्लास, चाहे मैं अच्छा पढ़ा रहा हूँ नहीं पढ़ा रही हूँ, बट देन दे हैव टू अटेंड. हियर it's a matter of their choice. Within seconds, if your content is not good, they will not access that, and the flipped classroom and other models will not be, you cannot really implement and go ahead. तो आप क्लास में वही पढ़ाते रहोगे because the part that was to be done with the help of video, you have not been able to do justice. So you should be knowing how this content can be created for uh, different requirements, and that will know that what is a module. Because small components, if we make, it is better to do mix and match. It should be futuristic. It should not be that you are making it just for 1 year. बनाने में इतने पैसे लगेंगे, efforts लगेंगे, and then it has to be changed. No, you have to look it from a futuristic perspective. And after authoring, the plagiarism checking, reviewing, language editing, scientific editing becomes very important ingredients. Let us also try to understand what is one module. If you take 4 credit paper and divide it into 35 to 40 small topics or subtopic combination, then each of these will be called as one module. Because normally, if 4 credit paper is taught in 15 weeks, it will require 60 classes. Sari hoti bhi nahi hai because of some holidays and all. And all of them are not one way. They are not supposed to be one way. So that assumption that you have to also engage learners. So 20 hours video is what is to be prepared, and 20 hours video along with 20 hours non-video e-content, which will be helping the student for self-learning. And that will mean that one module has content covered in around 1 to 1.5 hour face-to-face class scenario, and all the modules must be independent of each other and give appropriate titles, because sometimes you'll find that one topic is extending into 2 or 3 classes. So then make 3 modules for that and say, this is the title, the part 1, part 2, part 3. So there are so many minute nuances which go around in these modules creation. For EPG Pathshala project, every module was made. This is the first time this 4 quadrant approach was implemented in higher education. And myself, along with Professor Bakshi, we gave the very first sample of chemistry, which was accepted by the UGC Standing Committee, and all 77 subjects were told to make this 4 quadrant format for e-content. And what is this 4 quadrant format? There are video lectures which will emulate the classroom teaching, having text, graphic, visuals, animation. There is a detailed e-text because the learning also is required, self-learning through reading. So that will be there. Apart from that, the assessments are there, which will be having subjective as well as objective questions. And there is this one component no more, and I really feel satisfied that in 2013 we added this, because in higher education we are not supposed to confine the learners only to the syllabi. So these 3 parts are the syllabi part. They are being evaluated. But then no more is something additional, some interesting facts. Do you know, points to ponder, who are the Nobel laureates who contributed in that? And now you see in case studies to have ethical considerations. This is now coming in center stage light after NEP, that value education, scales, case studies we are talking about. So all this, if you make the material for every 1 hour class or 1.5 hour, is one module. And that is going to fetch you, provided it is being done through a national level or a state level project. But then in order to do the multimedia convergence, you should know the proper word formatting, or you should take the help of some technical person. In 2013, we took help, but now this is no longer practice. You should be all aware about how to handle the digital. अब तो हम क्वेश्चन पेपर सबमिट करते हैं तो भी properly formatted. There is no typist which is put up. Similarly, when you make presentation, then you have to be using small font, points, not paragraphs. आप सब कुछ स्क्रीन पे लिखोगे, वही पढ़ रहे हो, it becomes boring. Your screen and what you're reading out or what you're conveying should be different, because you are the subject expert. And then embed videos, audios, other animations, field videos, some interview videos. So see where you can get. And making presentation is something which is very, very important. And in between, you can have a storyboard. You थिंक इमेजिन, जैसे नॉवल से हॉलीवुड या बॉलीवुड की मूवी बनती है, 3 घंटे की मूवी के लिए 100 करोड़ लगाते हैं. हमारे पास ऐसा कोई बजट नहीं है. सो विदाउट एनी सच हाई काइंड बजट, still if we can get those ideas कि कितनी different different type की videos we can integrate, it is going to make your, so put it in tabular format. That will be, there is something called as screen capture video where you can, लगता है कि जो हम बोर्ड पे लिखते हैं वो बात तो अलग है. Yes, definitely you can even integrate like I'm showing one sample to you. So I want to show that this is attacking here, then what is the possibility, or the others, and so on. So as per your subject requirement, जो हम बोर्ड पे comfortably दिखाते हैं, visualization and all, that also can be added. You can add doodly, video scribe, you can use model shoot, like look at this. Here I am trying to show some 2 superimposable molecules, and that has been shot and then put up in my other videos. You can use simulations. There are so many sites, but you have to be referring to your own subject. Now there are also in the Word PowerPoint itself, you can have these type of 3D structures which can be there, and then you can explain the concept. Also, while recording the videos, be extempore. And you can use this chroma technology. In next session, I think Professor Bakshi will be showing you this glimpse. Otherwise, search for Arpit chemistry online refresher course in this introductory video. You will see this is all nakli, table bhi nakli hai. So we were just sitting in our studio, and we can add the background visuals. And now you try to compare with very high-end movies are also being shot on green chroma. वो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि वो शिप टाइटेनिक डूब रही है और वो कहीं शिप सी में जाके शूटिंग नहीं है वो. All these are done in large setup with green chroma. 99% shooting is being done for Hollywood and Bollywood on the green or blue chroma, and they are made neutral, and then animation effects are added. So we should also learn these technologies, which are how can we see that what all can be done after we record the video. And while you record the video, our own audio, video, or better to say voice modulation, वो भी होनी चाहिए. बच्चा बोर ना हो. आप पता लगा आप ही देखो, इफ यू हैव एनी न्यूज चैनल, 1 मिनट में हम चैनल चेंज कर लेते हैं. सो इफ यू थिंक रियली इट इज यूजफुल, और अगर हम कोई हॉलीवुड या बॉलीवुड की मूवी देख रहे हैं जो इंटरेस्टिंग लगती है, तो 1.5 घंटा हम पानी भी नहीं पीते हैं. सो कैन यू रियली क्रिएट दैट टाइप ऑफ एजुकेशनल वीडियो, then it will be a game changer and we will be able to take it further. MOOCs में भी 4 quadrant है, but in MOOCs what they have done is, after our this EPG Pathshala model, the discussion forum was added and all the written part has been put up in 1 quadrant. So very simple to understand the 4 quadrant model of MOOCs is, one is video or any demonstration type of thing. You can even have simulations or interactive things. One is the written part. So all the written part is there. One is discussion forum and one is the assessment part. So that's how we are having the 4 quadrant module format for the books. Here also, for a 4 credit course, if you have to develop entire MOOC, you should be having 20 hours videos and 20 hours non-video content. And those who are interested, they can look at this Swayam MOOC guideline. Just search for that. You will come to know all the details of this 4 quadrant approach, which is very well written in your module and CAS, and every teacher should be aware about the details of this. And you can even write to the national coordinators that you want to develop a MOOC, and if you get the funding, you can then do that credit transfer to the other universities as well. And then how you structure the MOOC? You put the same content in 15 weeks. In between, you can give them some revision or assessment weeks also, where you don't put any module. And in between every week, you put also the quizzes. So the quizzes have to be taken. So what I will say is, whenever you get opportunity to make a MOOC, first make the e-content in 4 quadrant. So you get the double the benefits in terms of API points, and then prepare its MOOC by just putting 2 to 4 modules per week and putting it in the sequence. You get recognition in terms of being course coordinator. This is my course on Arpit. And very important part, I'm repeating, the copyright fair use guidelines. Using plagium tools is very important as you go to digital space. Even if you are making some assignment or something in notes for students, then it should be very well taken into care. Or if you have taken it from somewhere, do citation. Don't claim it to be yours. You can be in trouble. Based on similar lines, this is my own concept of teachers e-kit. So those teachers who are interested, they can mail me as a group. Not 1 module, 2 module, but you have to develop at least 35 to 40 modules if it is a 4 credit paper, or 18 to 20 modules if it is a 2 credit paper, which can be shared with other teachers. So this is, if you have to implement blended learning, then what all video should be taken. You'll develop that video with the simple tools, no need of any studio. How the other teachers will be using this, what activity can be given, what discussion can be done, what experiential learning can be given, what are the questions. Every question has to be aligned with Bloom's taxonomy and the teachers know more part. So if you prepare this, we will be giving you certification, and this is the exclusive offer by UGC MMTTC at Khalsa College, because this is my own concept. I have not, this has been accepted by ministry and it is only being done under my guidance. The e-assessments are again the tools which can be used for making different types of quizzes, not simply MCQs, true, false, but you can have drag and drop, matching, crosswords, numerical based questions, audio, video, and imagine what type of things you can have with video, audio type of questions. You should also learn. This is something very essential. Don't leave the opportunity if you get any flyer that you can learn learning management system or LMS. That's how they are abbreviated. And Moodle is one of the very popular open source LMS, which is being used by many universities across the globe, where you should know how to structure your content. That will also help you in making your MOOCs. It can be week wise, it can be topic wise, how different type of content can be uploaded. And then apart from that, there are various other tools which you have to be learning on your own. And let me take you to some ICT research tools also, which in the light of research responsibility that we have, we can use so many tools which can automate, whether they are to identify research articles, literature survey, analysis of already known information, data collection process, data analysis tools are there, referencing, and even report presentation. So Shodh Ganga is the website where you have all the our PhD thesis and other things available. These are the quantitative data analysis software, right from Excel, which is very elementary, but then you can go into SPSS, R, MATLAB, SAS, references and bibliography compilation. Here, I think Mendeley is very popular, but you can have EndNote or Zotero also, and many others. You see where you get free, and because after some times of usage, they make it licensed. So you can keep on shifting, doesn't matter. You have to just know what you have to get from these. Plagiarism detection software again will be used for research. Even you can tell the students of safety in online communication, ethics, video creation tools I told you, LMS already. Just let me go to now. This gamification part is also picking up very well, and like Kahoot, or there are Quizly, there are Quizwizard. Many tools are there for gamification, which you can give inside your class. Virtual and augmented reality is waiting on our doors to be integrated, because this is slightly a costly technique. And gradually, with the help of technology, we are going to the same scenario of one-to-one, which is the best teaching learning, but to masses. So that is what is the potential of artificial intelligence driven personalized learning. And now AI tools are here. And if we, this is again a game changer. Next 5 years are going to be changing our profession like anything. And if you don't learn these tools, you will be losing behind. Chat GPT, you can search. So don't search in Google now no longer. You use Gemini, which is of Google, or Chat GPT, or ND Search, or Metaphor, or Open Text Aviator. There are so many tools which you can use. U.com search is again very good for research point of view. You get actually citation also, that when it is searching, then it will give you this sentence has been taken from this very particular source, and then you can go into the detail by clicking that source, or maybe use it in the citation. Audio pen, you can give inputs in the form of audio, and it will create a entire write up, आठ-10 page ka write up based on your inputs that you give with audio. Imagine आप आराम से लेटे हुए and you give inputs and it will write it for you. So it will write the text, it will create summary, it will do image generation around that. So much can be done automatically. जो आपको एक हफ्ता प्रेजेंटेशन बनाने में लगता है, वो बेस एक आपको 1 मिनट में मिल जाएगा. सोचो, दिस इज द पावर ऑफ नाउ एआई टूल्स. सो एआई फॉर प्रेजेंटेशन, you can use so many tools are there. Google ka slides ai.io hai. Then you also have Microsoft Office tool which will automate. आजकल वो टेक्स्ट लिखा, थोड़ा सा इमेज डाला, डिजाइनिंग अपने आप कर देगा. All these are the AI tools but getting integrated. You can rehearse your slide. For those who are from literature, they can use this for taking the oral viva of the students and telling them to present, and it will automatically give feedback also. Where are the areas? आपको feedback देने की जरूरत नहीं है, machine अपने आप feedback देगी कि where the narration needs to be better and where the slides need to be better. Online AI image generators are there. आपके mind में कोई visual है, मिल नहीं रहा है, you tell it, and that is what is the prompt engineering. You give prompts, and the better prompts you give, let me tell you now, there are many who are not even degree holders. If they can give good prompts, they are earning 2 lakhs per month. And that is what the hue and cry was there in the Bollywood industry and Hollywood industry, कि हमारी script writers की job चली जाएंगी, visualization animators की job चली जाएंगी. It is because of these tools. And at UNESCO we have all signed that no education system will be integrating the tools after replacing. The teachers have to be empowered, but that will be possible only when you learn all. There are so many tools which can enhance the existing image, or you get instant voiceovers or voiceovers in multiple languages, including Hindi.
Have you ever pondered the invisible enemy we breathe in every day? The air around us, seemingly clear, carries a burden of unseen pollutants that contribute to a global crisis we know as climate change. Climate change isn't just about melting ice caps or scorching summers. It's a health crisis, a silent predator that impacts every breath we take. According to the World Health Organization,
So this I created just by giving it input that I want to have a video which is climate change, pollution, and health. And it asked me which type of audience, what feel you want to have, what platform you want to upload, and it gave me this 5-minute video within 1 minute, which otherwise would have taken kya storyboard likhe, kya likhe, and all. So you take this as a base, and these small videos can be added in your otherwise oral videos of explaining. So that is now being called as smart content. Not just e-content, but now you have smart content with the help of AI tools. If some of you feel ki I don't want to be using my face in the video, you can use some avatars and your video of a presenter saying your script. So you add your script, it will say you can create assessment. Yes, how much time you take assessments to create? Between the class, in between sitting, you put the topic, and as per the Bloom taxonomy, you can get questions within seconds, and you can give different learners different type of questions with different tools. Like you have quizzes is there, class point is there, AI quiz maker is there, AI tutor, which will be again giving the one-to-one discussions for the students also. And there's combination of teaching learning tools which are AI driven LMS like Edu8, Kahoot, and Teachermatic. Teachermatic is where entire UK and Europe are doing this. And I am in actually discussion with this team where I'm thinking that if they can give us in a very lucrative, because otherwise it's a 180 GBP per year. So if it can be done at a lower, then we can really look for using this. So we have to keep on exploring kya hame free mein mil raha and all. But then institutions also have to change. Rather than buying the same books in the library, we should ask our administrators that can that funding be used for reimbursing our softwares, because now the time is for going into these tools. So entire system has to change. And at the end, I will say that continuous capacity building of teachers along with quality content and MOOCs is what can make a better and stronger India in the field of education, with the spirit has been truly encapsulated in the NEP 2020. So with these words, thank you everyone. I am open for any questions and your suggestions. So thank you so much for patiently listening to me, and any queries you can ask. Otherwise, my name vimalrar@gmail.com is my email ID. You can get in touch. And I will also like to share the Telegram link of my center where you can join and get to know what other hands-on activities around the session. So every slide we actually convert into FDP. So that can be there. So thank you, everyone. Any questions? I can see Dr. Fiona. Yeah, please ask your question. Maybe I'll request the organizers to unmute Dr. Fiona and others.
Yes. Good afternoon, madam.
Yeah, good afternoon, please.
Good afternoon, madam. Very excellent presentation, and I liked your slides.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm a professor in psychiatry at D.Y. Patil Medical College, Nerul, Navi Mumbai.
Okay.
Madam, I would like to know, it's all these, whatever you said, the technology and this chat, GPT, and this various innovations of video and all. This would be possible in a city like where metro and where the possible infrastructure is available. So how do we use this in villages?
If you are connected right now with
Right.
Zoom, all this is possible.
Yeah. Okay.
So you are having
Because
connectivity, you are having a smart device.
Right, right.
That's all is required. And
My
you are having this.
Right, madam. My concern is because most of our patients who come here, they are students. So when I talk to them, I realize that in their villages, the basic facility of a teacher and a classroom is also missing in most of the villages.
So
if
if
we
you
are
can
doing it as
really
a,
put these videos, they will be like very beneficial. And you can even involve your students in some group activity where they can take this information further. So maybe if at the place, if they are not having these devices, but you make a group activity where the students will take that and take it further. Why not? That is all possible.
Okay,
So
meaning
look into your own. I will request that if you can mail me, and if 4 or 5 teachers, those who are interested, can make one full paper on that. I will give you the certification, provided it is meeting my compliance and template for the teacher C-kit. So start making that effort. So small videos of 10 to 15-minute duration that can be added in the part of teacher C-kit.
Okay. So my concern was in the villages, when there is no infrastructure of this, and where the students also may not have access to smartphones and to do these facilities, or there may not be basic uh, presentation and all
See,
the slides.
first of all,
How do we go about as
nee,
a NEP program? As a NEP, uh, we are striving for NEP 2020, isn't it? To globalize everywhere, all over the country. So how will we tackle it in villages and small places?
That's why if you recall, I started that the blended learning model will vary from classroom to classroom. You have to look at the terms of infrastructure, preparedness, your students and all. So what I propose is when, and such esteemed university that you are from, rather than only buying books, I'm not denying that they are not that they are not required, but then apart from that, we also have to now look at digital resources. They can be access devices which can be issued to the students. Fine. They can be.
Sorry to interrupt, madam. It is possible at our place.
Yeah.
That is not a problem. My concern is how about reaching out to students in villages? In villages, गांव में बच्चे लोग को बोलते हैं कि बेसिक सुविधा नहीं है, तो वहां हम ये टीचिंग कैसे उन्हें ये उपलब्ध करें?
नहीं, वही तो मैं बोल रही हूँ. If they are coming to your institutions, then it is the responsibility of the institution also to give them these access devices, या अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी के टाइम में they can use this and then get upgraded. That type of model has to be evolved.
Sorry, madam. My question is, we have these facilities at our college. That is not a problem. My concern is, I'm talking about those students who study in villages, in small cities, small towns, where colleges may not have these infrastructure.
So it
So
becomes
then it
another.
becomes
Yeah,
difficult.
yeah. Okay. So you're
Then
talking
how
about
do
the
we
school
go about for
education.
teaching those students over there, not for us?
Okay, so that
Yeah.
is again, I will say that's a good thing. Wherever the good institutions like yours who are having terms
Right.
of the requisite infrastructure. Now,
Yes.
can you also own some of the 4 or 5 schools nearby which are in
Okay.
rural area, and they
All
can
right.
then be collaborative? That becomes when you say you have to do outreach program. So
All
I
right. All right.
like the outreach program like this, which is being also
Oh,
emphasized.
very nice. Right. 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 Okay.
We keep
Yeah.
on looking for what are the society problems. You're telling the society problems. So right
Okay.
in the education system, let us form a way where we can handhold these school education, and then so you can even provide them the labs and otherwise the technology
All right.
infrastructure also. Why not? You take a
All
lead.
right. Very
I
good.
think
Yes. Yes.
that's
Yes.
the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And I can see Professor Bakshi sir also joined.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Yeah. And so I hope that
Yes.
Well,
Yes, madam.
yes,
Yeah.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And those who are interested, they can be connected with me. Yeah, thank you. I think Lavina is asking, can students who have already passed out in, say, last 5 years do an online second degree? Yeah, they can, online degree, they can do it right now. Why not? Because in online degree, there is not many requirements ki only 1 year should be the gap or it should be immediately after. So they can definitely do the online degree programs. And even from open and distance education, there is no age barrier. That is again for lifelong learning, they can keep on acquiring degrees and all. Okay, so I hope that answers your query. Yes, Nupur, very well said. The cluster schools, you can mention that, where the resources can be shared. Fine. So I think I will take, who is the organizer? Please unmute Professor Bakshi, sir. I think he has to be made co-host, then only he will be able to. Who is from the organizers? Sir, I think one teacher introduced, and then I think let us see. Who is there? Who is the host here? Yes, HRDC BMU, who is logged in from that, please make Professor Bakshi as co-host. Or let me give a call to the organizers. Sir, I have just informed them they are, yeah. Meanwhile, let me welcome you, sir. Yes, sir. Now you can try
Yes,
doing.
yes, ma'am. Bakshi sir can start now.
Yeah. Okay, so I take leave. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. And I now welcome Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi sir to this NEP orientation sensitization program being organized by UGC Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar. And I would now hand over the session to Dr. A.K. Bakshi sir for his lecture. And sir, as I am having my lecture in another NEP, so I will take your leave, and you are the co-host. If somebody has unmuted, you can mute them also, sir. No problem. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for this invitation to deliver this talk. And before I start my talk, let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible and I am audible. Please confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is it okay? Hello? Is my screen visible and I am audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So good afternoon, all the participants. It's a pleasure to be with you for this NEP orientation and sensitization program. And the focus of this talk will be on ICT. As you can see, the theme of my talk, in the light of NEP 2020, ICT empowered teaching learning for 21st century learning needs. So that is the topic of my talk. And this is going to be a talk which will focus on the impact of technology, that is ICT, on teaching learning in the 21st century. So there are two things in this talk: technology and teaching learning in the 21st century. Why we are focusing on teaching learning? Because teaching learning is the most important component of the educational process. The other two components are curriculum and assessment. So curriculum, teaching, learning, and assessment, all these three are interlinked. But out of the three, teaching learning is the most important component. So we will focus on teaching learning in this talk. And technology, we are also going to talk. What is technology after all? Technology in simple language is the application of scientific knowledge to practical use in human life. That is the simplest definition of technology. And that is why it is said, the science of today is the technology of tomorrow. Because scientific knowledge is growing very, very fast, and therefore technology is also evolving every day. And then, technology, you have to keep it in mind, it is only an enabler which can help achieve the intention of the person who is using it. And you will agree that technology makes our lives easier and more convenient and helps us to do things more quickly and effectively. Then why not use it in education? So that is the thinking behind the use of technology. And in this talk, we are mainly focusing on ICT, which is information and communication technology. See, ICT is an umbrella term that encompasses all communication technologies that provide access to information. So in this, we have various communication technologies and they are providing access to information. These include internet, wireless network, satellite communication, cell phones, digital TV, etc. One thing is common in all of them. ICT processes information and aids communication. But please remember, ICT is a subset of technology. There are many types of technologies. All technologies are not ICT. So in this talk, we will be concerned mainly with the use of ICT in education, information and communication technology in education. And it will be shown that ICT, if used creatively, can make a big difference in the way the teachers teach and the students learn. And you know, this integration of ICT with education is called digital transformation in education. So digital transformation in education means integration of ICT with education. And we will see in this talk that, and during Corona pandemic, you all must have realized ICT has impacted all areas of higher education. It has totally changed the way we interact with the rest of the world. And you can see here, this is the impact of ICT in higher education. Teaching learning has changed. We have e-learning and MOOCs, and we will talk about them in detail. PowerPoint presentation, video clippings, audio have come. Experimental work is done through virtual labs. Again, ICT being used. Revision of syllabi you can do through email, discussion forum, video conferencing. Again, ICT. Then for research, many ICT tools have come, including electronic databases, which have changed the way the research is conducted now. Then in assessment, online examinations are becoming very popular. National Testing Agency has been created, where most of the exams are conducted in online mode. Then professional development of the teachers is done through online mode. And then many ICT empowered pedagogies have come. So you can see how technology has impacted higher education. But in this talk, we will be focusing on few areas. And the structure of the talk is as follows. This talk is in 4 parts. First, we will talk about e-learning and MOOCs. Then in part 2, we will talk about ICT and learner-centric pedagogies. In part 3, we will focus on flipped classroom model, a blended learning approach. Then in part 4, we will talk about future of ICT in education, how the things are going to change in future. So that is how this talk has been planned. And you can see in all of them, it is the use of ICT. So let's come to part first, which is e-learning and MOOCs. Now the question is, what is e-learning? See, e-learning means electronic learning. Emphasis is still on learning. E is just a mechanism. Mechanism has changed. The mechanism is now electronic. So e-learning is a learning that uses information and communication technology. That is the simplest definition of e-learning. And what are MOOCs? MOOC is a popular e-resource which facilitates e-learning, but in a very structured manner. See, the term MOOC was coined in year 2008 by Dave Cormier. And you know, from 2008 onwards, they became so popular by 2012 that New York Times gave the headline Year of the MOOC for 2012. This was the headline in New York Times. So that shows the popularity of MOOCs. Now, what is a MOOC? MOOC is basically massive open online course. It is an acronym for this. We call it massive because there can be unlimited enrollments. Lakhs and lakhs of students can enroll in one course. We call it open because no qualifications are required to enroll except if you want to obtain the grades. Online, all the MOOCs are offered through web. And then course, normally for one semester paper, maybe a 4 credit, 3 credit, or 2 credit, there is one course. So that's basically what MOOC stands for. And you know, the basic philosophy of MOOC is 4 A's. Anytime, anywhere, anyone, any number of times. You can enroll in a MOOC from anywhere in the world. Anybody can enroll anytime. And you can learn from it as many times as you want. You can repeat them, again learn like that. And then, you know, one can always decide one's own pace of learning. Whatsoever time is convenient for you to learn, you can learn accordingly. That's the beauty of MOOCs. Then the MOOCs are highly economical. You hardly have to pay any fees until and unless you want to obtain grades and you want to appear in an examination, there is a nominal fee. And then, you know, what all you need is a laptop or a smartphone or a tablet and internet connection. That's enough. And then all barriers are removed. Anybody can enroll, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your background, irrespective of your qualification. Anybody can enroll in the MOOCs. So that is the beauty of these online courses. And please remember, the basis of the MOOCs, from where you learn in a MOOC, that is the content, that is called e-content. Suppose you have a 4 credit theory paper. And suppose for this theory paper, you want to develop a MOOC. Normally, this 4 credit theory paper is covered in about 35 to 40 lectures. So you divide the syllabus into 35 to about 40 parts, 1 hour each part. We call it a module. So for each part of the syllabus, subject matter experts will develop static content. That is, for that portion of the syllabus, they will write text, value addition, quizzes, graphics, images, etc. for teaching purposes. Once static content has been written, then technical team will do multimedia enrichment in that static content. In that static content, it will add audios or videos or animations or simulations wherever required. It is done so that, you know, learning becomes exciting. And then the result is e-content. And this content is divided in 4 quadrants, but that is basic thinking is this. So e-content is nothing else but multimedia enriched static content. You will develop it for one module, then you will take the second portion of the syllabus, again you will develop. So like that, you will have 35 to 40 modules that will constitute one full 4-credit paper, and that is called MOOC, divided in 4 quadrants. So, what makes a good quality e-content? Because, e-content, when you learn, it is self-learning. There is no teacher to teach you. So it should have all those features which make self-learning exciting and interesting. And believe you me, developing a MOOC is not easy. It is a massive team effort. You need subject matter experts, then you need a technical team, then proper coordination, all that is required. And in India, there are so many courses, so many programs. So the task of development of the MOOCs in India has been divided amongst the national coordinators. Various national coordinators have been appointed. And they are developing the MOOCs. For example, NPTEL is developing MOOCs for engineering subjects. UGC for non-technical postgraduate disciplines, about 77. CEC, Consortium for Education, developing content for 87 disciplines, undergraduate level. IGNOU for some diploma and certificate. CBSE, NCRT, NIUS, National Institute of Open Schooling, is developing MOOCs for 9th to 12th standard, like that. There are so many national coordinators, they have been developing MOOCs. And all the MOOCs which have been developed, they are available on this platform called SWAYAM. SWAYAM is a learning management system. SWAYAM stands for Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. You go to this site, you will find all the MOOCs on this site. So this is hosting all MOOCs, SWAYAM platform. See, the SWAYAM is, the vision of the government is that SWAYAM should be like ATL, anytime learning for MOOCs, just as we have ATM for money. So that is the beauty of this SWAYAM platform. Anytime learning is possible. And a few features about SWAYAM. It is one of the world's largest MOOC providers. More than 3,000 courses are already hosted on the SWAYAM platform, from 9th standard up to PG level. About $33 million investment has been made on SWAYAM. Over 3 crore enrollments are already there on SWAYAM platform. Just imagine. And then for every course, there is an introductory video or a summary of each course. Then all MOOCs are free, but there is a nominal fee for examination or for certificate. Then the courses are flexible. You may not go through the entire MOOC. You may study even the desired module, because sometimes there are 35 to 40 modules. You can always study the module which you want to study. That's all. And these are some of the most popular MOOCs on SWAYAM. Look at this. Computing with Python. This is one of the most popular MOOC developed by IIT Ropar. Ethical hacking, IIT Kharagpur. Programming in C++, IIT Bombay. Then programming in Java, IIT Kharagpur. These are some of the most popular MOOCs on SWAYAM. And please remember, this SWAYAM has been designed to achieve the 3 cardinal principles of education policy. What are those 3 principles? Access, equity, and quality. These are the characteristics of the SWAYAM platform. Just see how it does. If you look at the current higher education scenario in India, India has the third largest system of education in the world, next only to USA and China. As you can see, presently we have more than 1,000 universities, nearly 45,000 colleges, so many standalone institutions, more than 15 lakh teachers, and more than 4 crore students. So by any stretch of imagination, there has been a considerable growth, no doubt. But our gross enrollment ratio is still less. So MOOCs can help in increasing the gross enrollment ratio in higher education in India. See, present gross enrollment ratio is about 27 to 28%. And the target of gross enrollment ratio under NEP 2020 is 50% by 2035. So if you have to achieve this target of 50% by 2035, it will be possible only with the help of MOOCs. Because you cannot do it physically. If you try to do it physically, you will have to open many universities, many colleges, almost 3.3 million more teachers may be required. That may not be possible. So MOOCs can help in expanding access to higher education in the country. This is a plus point. Then, see, MOOCs have been developed by the top experts of the country, renowned professors. So it is something like the best of the country addressing the rest. Then MOOCs can also help you realize the dream of lifelong learning. You can enroll in any MOOC. I am a student of chemistry, but if I want to learn economics or political science or any other subject, I can enroll in the MOOC and learn. And a very high quality education is available to the masses. This is another plus point. Whether UG level, or PG level, or diploma, or certificate, or engineering, high quality education will be available to the masses with the help of MOOCs. And that also with equity. You can see equity is on the right side. You have to be fair. You have to do justice, not equality. And then MOOCs make learning learner-centric and interactive. You can interact. You may have to solve various questions online. You can do that. And these MOOCs make learning just one click away. That is the beauty of the MOOCs. So you can see how important this e-learning and MOOCs is. And all this is possible with the help of ICT only. And now any student can enroll in up to 40% of the courses per semester through MOOCs on SWAYAM and earn credits. These are the UGC regulations. So you can see how education scenario is going to change. However, recently, another platform which is called SWAYAM Plus platform has been launched by the government. This platform is operated by IIT Madras. And you know, the beauty of this SWAYAM Plus platform is that it offers industry relevant courses. And the main aim is to boost employability. And then these courses are in many different languages, multilingual content. And they are going to be very helpful for employment. And these industry relevant courses have been developed in collaboration with leading companies like L&T, Microsoft, Cisco, and others. This is a big achievement which has been started now, just 2 months back. This is the report about 40% courses from MOOCs. However, there are many challenges in the development of MOOCs in the country. Please remember that. Because if you are going to develop MOOCs, those should be of high quality, authenticity, and interactivity. This is a must. There needs to be a proper coordination between academic and technical team. Academic people are subject matter experts, may not be knowing the technical part. Technical people may not be knowing the academic part. So multimedia enrichment will not be possible without the coordination between the two. Then MOOCs need to be developed in a time-bound manner. You cannot take years and years, and by the time you develop MOOCs, courses have become outdated. And then multilingual conversion is the another important challenge in the development of MOOCs. Most of the MOOCs on SWAYAM platform are in English. And therefore, these need to be translated into various regional languages. And then, let me tell you that we have developed many MOOCs. In order to develop MOOC, you need to be a great teacher with excellent writing skills. Because you will write various modules, they need to be arranged in a very systematic and logical manner. Language should be simple, there should be clarity of expression, and like a good teacher, MOOCs should show the ability to come down to the level of the students and then take them along. So these are the challenges in the development of MOOCs. This is the newspaper report about MOOCs. This is my article on SWAYAM platform, which was in Education Times of the Times of India. So this is part one, which I have told you how ICT integration can help you in the development of e-learning and MOOCs. Now I come to part second. Here I will talk about the use of ICT empowered pedagogies for learner-centric education. ICT empowered pedagogies for learner-centric education. So what is all this? Let's understand it. See, presently we all follow traditional teaching methodology, which is chalk and talk method. That is how we teach in our classes. This method, although it has many advantages, but it is not without limitations. And the limitations are, this method is teacher-centric. Teacher governs the entire class. Teacher directs everything. Then this method presumes that all students learn in identical fashion. That may not be true. Some may be slow learners, some may be fast learners. Then this method is mainly a monologue method. Students are just at the receiving end and the teacher is speaking. So one-way dialogue. Then it is slow and time-consuming. You write on the board, rub it, students take down the notes. It takes time. Then many complex concepts, especially those involving 3 dimensions, they cannot be explained on the board. And then, due to the paucity of time, because you have to finish the syllabus also, you can't solve many problems in the class for a deeper understanding. That's also not possible. And then, this talk and chalk method focuses more on examination, rote learning, and scoring high marks. See, the irony of our country is focus is on well-filled mind. But what we need is well-formed mind. That is missing. Look at this. There is a rat race for scoring high marks in examinations. Look at this. Number of students getting 95% plus marks surges 119%. Everybody is bothered about 95% marks. So much so that a student's mark sheet has become a prestige sheet for the family, but a pressure sheet for the child. Look at the child. He or she is under a pressure to score very high. Look at this survey about school education in India. This survey was done in 142 top private schools in 5 metros in India and 43 other countries. And they found that the Indian students fared poorly in comparison to students of other countries in reasoning-based and analytical questions. Our students didn't do well in reasoning-based and analytical questions. However, Indian students did very well in questions require rote learning. So the question is, what is wrong with our teaching? That's the fundamental question. The fact is that our education system does not encourage thinking, innovation, and creativity amongst students. We don't encourage. We focus more on rote learning. Effective learning is missing in the students. Why effective learning is missing? You may ask this question. Look at this. When you are imparting knowledge, this is called cognitive learning. Cognitive learning is a 6-level hierarchy. It takes you from remembering, understanding, up to creativity. 6 learning outcomes. And cognitive learning takes you from lower order thinking skills to higher order thinking skills. So all the 6 learning outcomes are important. But in our traditional classroom, when we teach, focus is mainly on developing lower order thinking skill. Remembering, understanding, and application. That is generally the focus. That is the problem. So this also explains why there is a dearth of creative minds and poor quality of research work in India, because students have never been trained to think out of the box. Creativity is missing. Analytical skills are missing. Evaluation ability is missing. And all this has to do with teaching learning. Please remember, children must be taught how to think, not what to think. We need to encourage inquisitiveness and out-of-box thinking from childhood. And please remember, without creativity, there can be no progress, and we would be forever repeating the same pattern. That is the reason we say that real education is that which transforms the learners. Just as you have a seed, it gets transformed to plant, then to tree. That sort of transformation must occur in our learners. And that is why there is a need of learner-centric education. Please remember, learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of the learners. The focus should be on engaging learners. Involve them in activities. And that is the thinking behind learner-centric education. Students will learn best when they are engrossed in the topic, motivated to seek out new knowledge and skills, because they need them to solve the problems at hand. Let them do on their own. They can get any information, and all this is possible in this information age due to ICT. That is why, it is said that better engagement of learner will lead to better retention of learned information. Here also comes experiential learning. That is also learner-centric, because you are learning by doing. Once you do something, you will never forget. And the retention rate of experiential learning in adults, you can see, is about 75%. Whereas for a lecture, it is just 5%. So learner-centric education is the need of the hour. And learner-centric education doesn't mean any single method. There are many methods which come under learner-centric education. Case studies, project-based learning, problem-based learning, collaborative learning, flipped classroom, etc. Now look at this. In traditional learning, what do? Students are told what they need to know. They will memorize it. Then we will assign a problem to illustrate how to use what they have memorized. That is the traditional learning. But in problem-based learning, you will assign a problem to the students. They will identify what they need to know in order to solve the problem. They will find, they will search, they will learn, and then apply all what they have learned to solve the problem. So this is the problem-based learning. Students are engaged in certain activities. The same thing is in project-based learning. You present a question to the students. Let them do research and gather the relevant information. Then let them analyze the information, derive knowledge from that, and then demonstrate what is learned, and then try to solve the problem which was given in the form of a project. So this is the project-based learning. Then collaborative learning, again, it is a learner-centric mechanism. I have some idea, you have some idea. We share our ideas and the best idea comes. That is called TPS, collaborative learning strategy. Think, pair, share. Here, a question is put to the student thinks over it and tries to come out with an idea or answer. Then that student is paired with somebody else. The two share their ideas, create new ideas together. Then they are made part of the class. They all discuss with each other, share their partners' ideas, create new ideas together, and listen to the ideas of others, and then the best idea comes. So TPS, collaborative learning strategy, turns classroom into a collaborative learning community. Even experiential learning you can implement in your class. Suppose you have to deliver 1 hour lecture. You identify what are the learning objectives. You may have to plan certain learning activities to demonstrate those objectives. And then you will also have to plan how to assess students' understanding of those objectives. Then you will have the next lecture, then you have the next lecture. In this sequence, you will build the entire course. And ultimately, with a realistic timeline, you will close the lesson. So that is how you can implement experiential learning for a lesson in any discipline. It is something like experiential learning in action in a class. And for experiential learning to be successful, teachers need to design activities and assignments which challenge the student's mind, which enhance creative thinking ability, which improve analytical skills of the students, and which give students more control over their learning. All that is required. So you can see that learner-centric education is the need of the hour. And please remember, in all these experiential learning, we do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. Experience plus reflection equals learning. There are many challenges in the implementation of learner-centric education in India. See, we have teachers in the age group of 25 to 65 years. They represent different generations, different mindsets. Many of them are the product of the old system. which focused mainly on lower order thinking skills. So there is a resistance to change to new system. Then most of the teachers are not tech savvy, not even ready to embrace new pedagogies. That is also a problem. And then for years, many teachers have been setting question papers, testing lower order thinking skills. They are not competent enough to test higher order thinking skills. They don't know how to set such questions. Therefore, teachers need to create new materials to enable students to learn on their own. So, in order to implement learner-centric education, we need to change the mindset of the people through rigorous professional training. We need to bring them out of the comfort zone. So that was about learner-centric pedagogies. Now I come to another part 3, where I will talk about flipped classroom model, which is a new blended learning approach. And you know, this model is very, very important in the modern world. These are the developers of the flipped classroom model, Jonathan Bergman and Aaron Sams. These were two chemistry teachers of a school in United States. And you know, this flipped classroom model this pedagogy is becoming very popular all over the world. What do we do in this model? Before we go, please remember that flipped classroom model is a blended learning approach. Some portion is online, some portion is face-to-face. It is blend. You are blending the best of two instructional pedagogies. So blended learning is an approach to learning that combines face-to-face and online learning experiences. There is one more learning called hybrid learning. Hybrid is when online and face-to-face both are occurring at the same time. They are in synchronous mode. For example, I am delivering a lecture. Some students are attending to my lectures in an online mode, and some are sitting before me. They are attending to this lecture in a physical. So that is hybrid learning. But blended learning is just combining the two. How does flipped classroom work? Look at this. Teacher creates a video lecture on any topic, shares it with the students. Students watch the video lecture at home and they prepare questions for the teacher. They watch the lecture, they try to answer the questions which the teacher has put, and then whatsoever is not clear to them, they prepare questions for the teacher. Then in the classroom, teacher will facilitate discussion and answer students' questions. Students will ask questions and participate in learning activity. That is how the flipped classroom works. And the best summary of flipped classroom is here. You can see. In the traditional classroom, you can see on the left side, in the classroom, teacher delivers a lecture. And that helps students in acquiring lower order thinking skill, lots. Basic things, remembering knowledge, etc. And for homework, teacher gives them some activities focusing on higher order thinking skill. Whether they do or don't do, that's not clear. So that is a challenge. But in the flipped classroom model, as a homework, teacher will give a video lecture or an online lecture or internet lecture or some PowerPoint presentation with some questions, focusing on lower order thinking skill that you give to the students for watching at home. Students will understand, they will solve the problem. And in the classroom, teacher will involve students in various classroom activities and focus on higher order thinking skill because lower has already been covered. So that is how this model is flipped classroom. You can just see. So how does flipped classroom model actually work? Now you can very well understand. This is a beautiful model to engage students and make them more active in learning process. Students, as I said, watch a short video lecture as homework, take notes and complete practice examples where the focus is on lower order thinking skill. That is done at home. Then in the class, the difficulties and misconceptions are addressed by the teacher and students thereby ensure conceptual clarity. They learn in the class because lower order thinking skill they have already done. So then students in the class also move to critical thinking questions, activities and discussion. That is higher order thinking skills in a collaborative format. So the class is completely student-centered. Teacher becomes merely a facilitator instead of a lecturer. So this is the beauty of the flipped classroom model. The result is, you can summarize it that in the flipped classroom, learning usually done in the classroom becomes homework, and homework usually done at home becomes classwork. And therefore, class is a lot more interesting and students learn far, far more. And you know, this flipped classroom has various pillars, but how to implement flipped classroom model? That could be a question. We need to integrate flipped classroom model with revised Bloom's taxonomy. Let's see how we can do it. I told you that cognitive learning is a 6-level hierarchy. Lower order thinking skills are there, higher order thinking skills are there. We need to have questions of each thinking skill. Now, how to do that? We need to develop, see, teachers are very good to develop questions of lower order thinking skill, but for higher order, it becomes difficult. So how can they develop? Now just watch this. So lower order thinking skills are, lowest is remembering, understanding, application. Let's take one by one. When we talk about remembering, remembering means the learner should be able to recall, restate, and remember information. That is the meaning of remembering. So you can set various questions. For example, these are the format for the question. What is? This is only remembrance. Where is this? Again, it requires your remembrance. How did it happen? Why did it happen? When did it happen? How would you show this? Who were the main actors? Something like that. All these questions test remembering. So these questions can be added in the video lecture which you give to the students. They will test the lowest order thinking skill. Then comes understanding. Understanding means what? The learner is able to grasp the meaning of information by interpreting and extrapolating what has been learned. So understanding now you want to test. If you give a video lecture, you test remembering, then you want to test understanding. So you should also have some questions which test understanding. What could be those questions? Like this. Can you write in your own words? This is possible only if you have understood it. How would you explain this? Requires understanding. Can you write a brief outline? Or what do you think could have happened next? What do they think? What was the main idea? Can you clarify? All these answers require understanding. So you can set some questions based on understanding. Then comes application, applying. Here, the learner should be able to make use of the acquired knowledge, facts, techniques, and rules in a different way and apply it. So what can be the questions for application? This. How would you organize this to show this? This you can do only if you can apply. How would you show your understanding of this? What facts would you select to show this? What elements would you change? All these questions and many more require application ability. So, you can set questions for remembering, understanding, application, and other thinking skills. And next comes analysis, analyzing. Here, the learner should have the ability to break down the learned information into its parts, determining how the parts relate to one another to an overall structure. That means these tests analytical ability of the learners, breaking down into parts. So what can be the possible question? Which statement is relevant? Now this you have to analyze. What does the author believe or assume? Again, it depends on your analysis. What ideas justify the conclusion? Again, analysis. What is the conclusion? Make a distinction between this and that. Again, your analysis. What was the turning point? You have to analyze. So these types of questions are relating to analysis. Then comes evaluation. Here the learner makes decision based on in-depth reflection, criticism and assessment through checking and critiquing. Why did it happen? Evaluation. So the questions can be, what fallacies or consistencies or inconsistencies appear? You evaluate in this. Which is more important in your opinion? Again, your evaluation. Do you agree? You have to give your evaluation. What information would you use? Or do you agree with this? Or how would you evaluate this? All these types of questions test evaluation ability. These are now, we are moving to higher order thinking skills. Then comes critique, creating. That is the highest order thinking skills. So you can see, you can set questions for, if you have to set questions for creativity or creating, here the learner should create new ideas and information using what has been previously learned. And what can be the questions related to creating? Can you design a, that means you have to come out with a new idea. What possible solution do you suggest? Your creativity. How many ways can this be done? Again, your creativity is required. Can you create a proposal which would do this? Or what would happen if this were to, can you create new and unusual uses for this? All of them require new ideas. And these are the higher order thinking skills. See, why I am telling all this? Because in flipped classroom model, when you give a video lecture to the students or a PowerPoint or an online lecture, in that there should be some questions which test the lower order thinking skills, remembering, understanding, application. And once the students have answered that, and when they come to the classroom and they discuss with the teacher and other students, then you should take the discussion to higher order thinking skill by asking questions relating to analysis, evaluation, and creativity. That's the purpose. Now, this one example will explain everything again. See, remembering. Now, what are the symptoms of a cold? You have to remember it. Then a patient has the following symptoms: fever, blocked nose, headache, cough. What ailment does the patient most likely have? This requires understanding. Then what test would you conduct to determine whether the patient has the flu? Application. Then how would you determine whether the patient has cold, flu, or allergies? Again, your analysis. And evaluation, what is the best justification for using a particular test? You have to evaluate it. So you can see flipped classroom model is a totally new approach. And the best way to do it, you have to generate question bank. There should be workshops for each discipline. we should generate quality questions of various types, testing each learning skill as per revised Bloom's taxonomy with varying difficulty levels on each topic in each discipline. Such questions should be tested for physics, for chemistry, for economics, for statistics. That one-time labor has to be done. And teachers need to be professionally trained for this through various workshops. Multiple sets of question paper you can always prepare based on for each video lecture or online content which you give to them. So you can very see how challenging it is. So there are many advantages and disadvantages of flipped classroom model. You can very well see what are the disadvantages or advantages. Look at this. Advantages are students have control over their learning. They will learn at home. They will have to learn as per their convenience. There are many active learning opportunities besides the video lecture which the teacher gives. They can also learn from other sources. And when the same is discussed in the classroom, you focus on higher order thinking skills. So there is an efficient use of class time now. Then there is an accountability of students for their own learning. More accessibility of online lessons and content. And then students will be under the 24/7 watchful eyes of their parents. Disadvantage of flipped classroom is it may aggravate the digital divide. Many people may not having all the devices or internet, all that. And then it relies heavily on trust. You trust that the students will watch it at home and come prepared with all those things. And in this flipped classroom model, there is certainly extra workload on teachers. They will have to work very hard. And then increased time in front of screen is another disadvantage. So finishing this part, flipped classroom, the biggest challenge in the flipped classroom model is development of quality instructional videos and other online materials for students as per curriculum. This is the biggest challenge of flipped classroom. You may be teaching a paper for years, but making a video itself is a challenge. But once you make it, then you can use it for years, modify it. Then professional training of the teachers to adopt this new interactive teaching approach. This is a new approach. Teachers need to be trained. And it should also enable students acquire higher order thinking skills. All this training needs to be given to the teacher. Believe you me, this flipped classroom model is the future of blended learning all over the world. The sooner we adopt, the better it is. This was my article on flipped classroom model for the 21st century learning needs in education times. This is another. Then this was our and Professor Vimal Rarh's research article, flipped classroom model to achieve higher levels of educational objectives of Bloom's taxonomy. This was published last year. Please remember, if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we are robbing our children of tomorrow. Teachers will have to change with the changing times. So never stop learning. And now I come to the last part, and that is what is going to be the future of ICT in education. See, I've told you about ICT, all things. What is ICT, how it has impacted, then e-learning and MOOCs, then ICT learner-centric pedagogies, then flipped classroom model, and now we will talk about the future of ICT in education. Please remember, technology in education is a journey and not a destination. New and new technologies will keep on coming and they will change the education scenario. Look at this evolution of 5G. We have these mobile communication technology of 5th generation now we have. We started from 1G, 2G, now we have reached 5G. All this is development of technology. Then India is in an era of education 4.0, total technology mediated education. See, in the history, we had various industrial revolutions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They are there now. All these industrial revolutions came because of technological developments. Initially, it took, you can see, from industrial revolution 1 to 2, it took almost 100 years, 2 to 3 also 100 years. Then technological developments were very fast. It took another 10 years and another 10 years. So they are all different levels of technological advancements. And here you should remember that industrial revolution, education system, and society are all interlinked. What does it mean? That each industrial revolution creates a system of education that addresses its needs. Because the workforce for industrial revolution has to come out of the education system. So education system will also have to change. And once the education system changes, it will also change the society. So Industrial Revolution 4 brought about Education 4.0. That changed the society 4.0. So that is how the things are changing. And now many new technologies are emerging. Look at this, how the world will look like in 2030. Look at this. These are the technologies of the future: artificial intelligence, robotics, virtual reality, Internet of Things, augmented reality, data science, gamification, machine learning. So many new technologies. And this is the best picture that here we show the technologies that will drive the change in future. Artificial intelligence, robotics, autonomous vehicles, cloud computing, Internet of Things, 3D printing, quantum computing, biotechnology, augmented reality, and virtual reality. These are the technologies. They will change the entire world. For example, gamification is now coming. Gamification is for engaging learners. It is based on the theory that students will learn best if learning is based on gaming concepts. What are the gaming concepts? Competition, incentives, and goal attainment. So many e-learning games have been developed for different disciplines. You play the game, you enjoy, and you learn also. That is the thinking behind gamification. Look at, these are some of the e-learning games for chemistry students. Then blockchain technology is coming in a big way. It is a system of recording information in a way that makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. It's like a digital ledger. No editing is possible. This is a beautiful technology, very useful in education, because the 4 benefits of blockchain technology are greater trust, stronger security, higher efficiency, and transparency. This is ideal for storing academic data and records of the students. You can upload your assignments. Nobody can touch them. They will never be lost. So these are the benefits of blockchain technology. Then metaverse in education is coming. What is metaverse in education? It means you attend virtual classes, but you experience the elements of the real classroom. You experience the elements of the real classroom with the help of augmented reality and virtual reality. See, I am sitting here, attending a classes virtually, but with AR and VR, I feel as if I am attending it in a real mode. That is the metaverse in education. These are the advantages of a metaverse in education. Just see. Then quantum computing is coming. Computers are now becoming very, very fast, much faster and efficient. A quantum computer is a computer that takes advantage of quantum mechanical phenomena. Those of you who are science students, they know that at small scales, physical matter exhibits dual behavior, particle and wave character. That is what we call de Broglie equation. So quantum computing is based on that. And this is becoming very, very popular, quantum computing. Computers will become much, much faster. Then internet is becoming very fast. World's fastest internet has already come. Huawei company in China, they have developed the world's fastest internet. You know, it can transmit 150 movies per second, 150 movies. 1.2 terabits per second. 1.2 terabit is 1.2 into 10 to the power 12 bits per second is the speed of internet now. Just imagine how fast the world is changing. And then in the light of all these emerging technologies, future of learning in the 21st century is going to be very fascinating. World is slowly moving towards self-learning and personalized learning in the 21st century. Self-learning is going to be the new norm in the 20th. You learn on your own. So much material is available. See, there is a report that by 2050, 90% of the student population will be in online education. They will become so popular, online education, because it offers you so many advantages. So students will learn on their own. This was a report which came in Times of India just a month back. There is a growing popularity of self-learning. There are free courses offered by IITs and IIMs on SWAYAM platform. You just learn from these courses and you can earn credit, certificate, and diploma just by paying a nominal examination fee. And these are very prestigious institutions, IITs and IIMs. Self-learn and you get everything. And look at this. These IITs and IIMs offer 390 programs and number of candidates has increased from 3,807 in 2018 to 1.2 lakh in 2023. Just self-learning. They learn on their own. They don't need to go to the classes. So you can see how the world is changing. Then personalized learning is coming. Artificial intelligence is transforming the world. Why personalized learning is important? Because personalized learning is ultimate. Every learner is unique. Every learner has different need, different comprehension rate, different learning capacity, different methods of gauging information. So personalized learning is an educational approach that aims to customize learning for each learner's strengths, needs, skills, and interests. In a way, you can say it is individualized learning. That's becoming very, very popular. And the thinking behind the learning process is this. Look at this slide, is very important. Please remember, learning process is no longer linear and one size fits all. We still have teacher-centric talk and chalk method, where it is presumed that everybody will learn in the same way. That is the limitation of this method. Then came online method, which is again teacher-centric using ICT. Again, it thinks one size fits all. But now, with the help of artificial intelligence, personalized learning is coming, which is as per your needs, as per your interest, as per your strengths and weaknesses. This is the ultimate. It is individualized learning. In personalized learning, each student will get a learning plan that is based on what they know and how they learn best. It's a unique advantage which AI is going to offer. Nobody would have thought, but this is going to happen in future. And in the light of all what I have said, the question is, what is going to happen to the teaching profession? What is the future of teaching profession? Is technology going to be a threat to teaching profession? That may be a question. See, some teachers already worry that there will be perhaps no students to teach anymore in near future, as technology might take over teaching our students. Because there was a time when teacher was considered to be the only source of knowledge. Not now. Now there are many sources of knowledge. So the question mark is over the future of teaching profession. The roles of the teachers are going to change. And now, robot teachers have already come. This is the robot teacher developed in India, artificial intelligence empowered teacher. Here, students ask questions via command in physics, chemistry, and mathematics, and 100% correct answers you get. These are the teachers who may replace human teachers in future. And what robot teachers can do? They have been programmed to communicate in the language learners speak. They are able to teach as well as answer questions of the learners. They are never tired. They mark learners, record their marks, give instant feedback. Then they play games with learners and make learning interesting and fun. This is all robot learners can do. So these are the advantages of robot learners. They are always energetic. They will never get tired. No sickness. Always on time. They will not make any technical mistakes such as marking learners wrong. No favoritism because they don't have any feelings or emotions. But human teachers will always be required because teaching as a profession wears many hats. Look at this. Who will tell robot teachers what they need to teach to the students? It is the human teachers. Human teachers will only guide robot teachers what to teach. Human teachers can only give empathy and motivation to learners. Human teachers can solve the disputes of the learners like a lawyer. Or human teachers can make learners feel better like a doctor. So human teachers will always be needed. Because only a human teacher can bring real connection, socialization, and creativity to the class. So now you can very well see how the future is going to be. Teachers in future will have to work hand in hand with robots in future. And that is the basis of Industrial Revolution 5. What is that? Humans and robots work together for more success. That is the Industrial Revolution 5. It depends upon the cooperation between man and machine. From robot to robot. And even the MOOCs are also going to change in the light of artificial intelligence. See, the MOOCs, as I told in the beginning, they are based on e-content. But in future, we are going to have personalized e-content, which is going to be dynamic. Depending on who is viewing the content, it will change. That is also called smart content. Present MOOCs are just one size fits all, but in future, we are going to have smart MOOCs. Smart MOOCs would mean having dynamic content. If I am viewing, I will get some different content based on my strengths, weaknesses, etc. Somebody else will get a different content. So you can see how the future of ICT in education is going to be. So my message to all of you is teachers must change with the changing times. And ICT is providing an opportunity. These are going to be the new roles of the teachers. You have to be tech savvy in ICT skills, AI skills. You may have to manage virtual classroom and discussion forum. You need to engage students by learner-centric pedagogies, Teachers will become like coaches or mentors. You also have to be proficient in the development of e-content and MOOCs. Writing skills should be excellent. Focus of assessment on lower order thinking skill and higher. All these are going to be the new roles of a teacher. See, the world is changing very, very fast. Change with the changing times or face the consequences. Look at this Kodak company, did not change. It became bankrupt because digital photography came and it did not change. HMT, Bajaj, Dynora TV, Murphy Radio, Nokia company, Rajdoot, Ambassador Car, they are slowly disappearing because they did not change with the changing time. So teachers will have to change with the changing times. Otherwise, they will have to face the consequences of oblivion. This was my article about how will Education 4.0 work for coming generations. So the message is never stop learning. Inspire your students to be lifelong learners by being one. This is the reports about our e-content. This is a report about the MOOCs developed by us in Times of India. This is about chemistry programs. Again, chemistry. This is my editorial on the world of e-learning in Times of India. This is end of talk chalk regime. Again, in Times of India. This is self-learning with UGC MOOCs in Hindustan Times. This is my article on why the Indian education system must focus on innovating its teaching approach. This is using ICT creatively in higher education. This is ICT for quality education in India. So you can see a lot can be done, a lot has been done, and a lot will come in the years to come. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. You can always give your input, suggestion, feedback in the chat box. My cell number is here. My email ID is here. You can always talk and ask your question. You're most welcome. But do give your feedback, please. If any suggestion, do suggest. Thank you very much. Any question, any comment, any suggestion, any feedback, most welcome, please. See, it's a very vast topic. Covering it in 70, 80 minutes is a challenge. But still, I have given you an overview of what ICT is and how it is going to change. No question? You can always unmute yourself and ask the question, if any. Please unmute the participants who want to say something. Any query, any question, please? Is there anybody at the organizer? No, I'm not able to hear anything. Is there anybody there? Please ask your question. I cannot hear you. Ask them to unmute you. I just cannot hear anybody. I cannot hear. May I request the host to please unmute the participants who want to say something? Yes. May I request the host to please unmute the participants who have some questions or queries?
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Who is
Yeah,
speaking?
thank you. This is Dr. Fiona Mahapatro. I am professor in psychiatry from Dr. D.Y. Patil Medical College, Navi Mumbai.
Yes, madam.
So, excellent presentation, sir. I liked your slides. I have one question. So, this flip mechanism, I mean, this flip type of teaching, what you elaborated, where we have both video lectures and then of the lower intelligence, lower order thinking, and then afterwards classroom is the higher order thinking. So in our case, like in psychiatry, when we have varied presentations, it is not a fixed type of presentation. So how would we go about it in our field?
See, the question is what you want them to teach, that you have to be very clear.
Right.
And once you are clear that your students should know all these things, then you will have to plan your video lecture accordingly.
Okay, because usually we have mostly face-to-face clinical discussions on the patients. How will you diagnose, depending on what are the symptoms, what is your diagnosis, and then how will you manage the patient with giving medications, counseling, etc.
No,
So we have
okay.
varied, yes, sir. So we have varied presentations. So how can we make a video of this and then give tasks to the students and then discuss this on a later on stage? This is more of a face-to-face interaction.
If you think face-to-face interaction is working very well, and
Right.
if it is able to achieve the desired objective, then you don't need to do that.
Okay.
If you think that this face-to-face interaction is able to take students to higher order thinking skills, then there
Yes.
is no need.
All right.
Normally, it doesn't happen because normally when you deliver a lecture in a classroom, students are listening to that lecture for the first time, and during 1 hour interaction, they just are able to get some knowledge, little bit learning, remembering, understanding, and some application. There is hardly any time to take them to higher order thinking skill. That is why
Right.
this flipped classroom model is coming. But
Okay.
if your discipline, it is already working and you don't think there is any need of any additional interaction to take them to higher order thinking skill, then there is no need. Why should you
Okay.
do that?
Right.
That's for
We
you
have
to decide.
correct, sir. We have theory classes also, and we have practical training also for them, and especially for our PGs, postgraduate students. Undergraduate, we do have lecture programs and clinical bedside teaching. But for
And the
our
beauty
PG,
of
we
your lectures
mostly
is
face to
that
face.
whatsoever you teach in theory, you
Right,
also
sir.
teach them in the practical.
Practical,
Link
yes,
to
sir.
that. Then the
Yes,
purpose
sir.
is served.
Okay,
The
okay, sir.
purpose is served.
All right, all right. Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Hello. Hello. Okay, then I beg leave. And if there is anything, you can always write to me. You can contact me on phone. You can ask me any question anytime. I have given you my mobile number 88266765777. Anytime you are most welcome. Please. There is some problem. I'm not able to listen to anybody except because the host is not able to unmute them. Anyway, thank you very much.